Do you ever worry about the pressure to stand out in your business? Whether you're networking or you're trying to figure out what words you should use on your website, or you're trying to make sure that people send you the best fit referrals. Maybe you've spent a lot of time trying to come up with like a clever tagline, but you find out that people still don't really get what you do. What if I told you that the key to standing out isn't about being the most creative? It's about being the clearest. Today, I'm sharing an overlooked strategy that makes you the go to referral, and it all starts with specificity. Welcome to the Establish Yourself podcast, your guide to elevating your brand, offers, and systems as a coach, consultant, or service provider. I'm Annie Franceschi of Greatest Story Creative. I'm a brand strategist, author, former Disney storyteller, and forever Muppet fan. If you're ready for next level success, we'll get clear on your brand, package your process, and streamline your systems so you can land quality clients, boost profit, and make time for big dreams in your business and beyond. If you're ready for less confusion and more magic, it's time to establish yourself. There's definitely a reason why some people get more referrals than others and better referrals than others. It's not about being everywhere. It's about being clear. A dear friend of mine named Liz was sharing on LinkedIn the other day about how she was so excited to have made a referral connection for one of her friends in her network. Her friend is named Darcy, and she is a lymphatic drainage specialist. Darcy is also a licensed massage therapist and body worker, but Darcy makes a point when she goes to networking events to make sure she mentions that she helps people who are navigating breast cancer recovery, and she does this really great specialty of lymphatic drainage massage. Now, Liz was having a conversation with another person in her life who was saying that they were really in need of someone who does lymphatic drainage. And who did Liz immediately think of? Darcy, of course, right? That's because Darcy is proactively positioning herself. She is this licensed massage therapist and body worker too, but because she's specific, Liz was able to pick her out of her card deck and go, I know exactly the person you should speak with. If you want more referrals, you don't actually need to be everywhere. You need to be more clear on what you do best. There's so much pressure when we go networking to come up with this really creative pitch. People think, well, if I can just be unique enough, I'll get noticed. But that's not actually what makes you memorable. I call this the Tomato Smoothie Problem. Let's say that you are the world's best ketchup, award-winning, the best ketchup there is on the market. But instead of calling yourself ketchup, you feel this pressure to say, well, I need to stand out. I can't just say that I'm ketchup, so you know what? I'm going to call myself a fruit smoothie. If you do that, guess what happens? You end up on the wrong shelf at the grocery store. You're next to actual fruit smoothies, and what you really want to be is right there in the condiment aisle when someone is looking for ketchup to bring to their barbecue. When you try too hard to stand out, you create confusion, and confused people don't buy, and they definitely do not refer. We need to get out of the tomato smoothie problem. If you're a coach or consultant who's felt like, well, I can't call myself a life coach, or I can't call myself a business coach, we have to connect the context. We have to make sure that people know what you do. So like Liz's example, where she can pull out and immediately recommend Darcy, we want that to happen for you. There's this experiment that's done in schools where each student will inflate a balloon, write their name on it, and throw it into the air, mixing them all up. Then the students are given time to find their own balloon. And that is chaos. Almost no one can do that quickly. But here's what's interesting. The teacher is then going to change the instructions. Don't find your own balloon. Instead, pick up the one that's closest to you and give it to the person whose name you see on it. Suddenly, everybody has their balloon within seconds. What can we learn from this? People are far better at finding something for someone else than they are at finding their own. And the same applies to how referrals and networking work. When you are specific about what's on your balloon, when people know exactly what to look for, they can bring you opportunities much faster. So, how do we do that? Well, we trade standing out for specificity. We trade standing out for understanding. And we trade clever for creating connection. Here's what I want you to know. The first thing you should do if you want to tap into this strategy and be that balloon that somebody picks up or the card in somebody's deck, own your niche like Darcy did. Remember, Darcy isn't just a massage therapist. She's a go-to expert in lymphatic drainage massage for breast cancer recovery. That is what makes her an easy referral. What's your Darcy level specialty? The clearer you are about this, the more you talk about it, the more and better referrals you'll get. So here's an action step for that. I want you to think about how could you define that niche, that specialty in one sentence? Who do you help and how? If you want some help with this, a previous episode, episode 9, introduces you to my brand chips formula. And part of the core of this brand chips formula, it's like Mad Libs for your elevator pitch, is getting clear on what you are known for and what specifically you do to help people. Not what creatively you do, not some creative way to say it, but the clear and simple way. So go back and listen to episode 9 if you haven't already. I'm also teaching a free Zoom workshop on March 12th called Elevator Pitch Hour that can help you do this as well. So if you want some help with this action step, be sure to listen at the end of the episode for more information about Elevator Pitch Hour. So first step here, own your niche like Darcy did. Second step, repeat, repeat, repeat. If you only talk about your specialty once, people are not going to remember it. You have to reinforce it consistently. Think I'm wrong? Well, what about the quicker picker-upper, the bounty slogan, right? How long have you heard that? Just do it. How many times do brands repeat who they are, what they do, what they're about? That's how we remember them. I call it in my book, Establish Yourself, play your hit song. For your song to become a hit song, for people to really get to know your story and your brand, you got to be out there singing it. You know, the Beatles, when they debuted in Britain, was in like 1962. They weren't a huge hit in the United States until 2 years later in 1964. They had to go play their songs over and over and over again before they became a recognized name. So it is really, really important that you repeat, repeat, repeat. Someone like Darcy consistently introduces herself in a way that reinforces her specialty. She doesn't switch it up every time because she's tired of hearing it. Can you imagine if Nike got tired of saying just do it and they just kept changing it every single time? Or your favorite band kept changing the lyrics every time they played the song that's your favorite? We don't want to do that. We don't want to lose ourselves in the pursuit of standing out that we actually disappear into a sea of same. We've been thinking that creativity is the thing that helps us stand out, but it's truly the specificity. So here's an action step. The next time you introduce yourself at a networking event, lead with your specialty instead of some creative take on your title. What's the last thing I want you to know about this? I want you to make it easy for people to refer you. People naturally want to help you. I think most of us are geared to meet people in the world. If we're going to a networking event or we're connecting with someone over coffee, we want to help the person across from us, right? But in order to help somebody, you need to give them clear direction. Someone can't help you if they're confused. I want you to give them a simple way to think about you. If you know someone struggling with X or Y, send them my way. I call this knowing the problem. It's part of my brand chips formula. CHIPS, the P is the problem. You want to make sure that you're clear on what's the biggest problem you solve for your ideal clients. If you can tell someone in a networking context, hey, I help people get clear on their story. For example, I help people package their expertise. I help people when they know what they do, but they have trouble communicating it. These are common things that people will see. Darcy would say something, I help people who are recovering from breast cancer as a lymphatic drainage specialist. Being able to explain that is critical to helping people find your balloon, right? So you always want to start with context and not creativity. I remind you that if you start with the spin, they will spin away. We don't want applause. We actually want action. We want referrals. We want clients. This is not about validation or approval that we have this most creative pitch. As I talk about in episode 9, sometimes and often that will backfire massively. You don't want someone to be so impressed that they don't get the context of what you do. Specificity can and should take the place of creativity here. So I want to encourage you, if you want to make it easy for people to refer you, you need to work on your elevator pitch. You need to create a go-to phrase that's going to make it effortless for other people to connect you to the right clients and the right opportunities. You want to get clear on what your category, hook, ideal clients, problem, and solution are. How you say that in an elevator pitch. I call this my brand chips formula. If you want my help with that, don't miss Elevator Pitch Hour. It is a free masterclass where I'm going to help you clarify your message in 60 minutes or less. I'll walk you through my formula, and you're going to leave with a clearer, more confident, and yes, more specific introduction to talk about what you do. Come join us on Wednesday, March 12th from 12 to 1 p.m. EST on Zoom. If you've ever done Mad Libs before, you can do this. We're going to fix and strengthen your elevator pitch because the key to more referrals isn't standing out. It's being specific. I want you to start trading standing out for understanding. Let's trade being clever for creating real connection through clarity. I hope you'll join us for Elevator Pitch Hour. Head to greateststorycreative.com now to save your spot. I'll make sure that the free RSVP link is right here in the show notes. I can't wait to see you there. Let's make your message clear and unforgettable together. Hey, do you like surprises? Here comes the show's credits, but just like a Marvel movie, stay to the end so you don't miss something fun I put in just for you. Thanks for tuning in to the Establish Yourself podcast. I'm Annie Franceschi, and I want to hear from you. Follow me on LinkedIn. Share your favorite takeaway from today's episode as a comment on my latest post. Mention your favorite Muppet in your message so I know you're a fan of the show. And for expert branding help, a free consultation, and more resources, visit greateststorycreative.com/podcast. Now, here it is, your moment of magic. When I was working in Los Angeles in the film industry, I came across a listing for a position at the Jim Henson Studios. And I'll never forget, it had this phrase, must possess a sincere love of silliness. A sincere love of silliness is exactly what the Muppets are all about. And I think that's what I'm about too. So that's why I love the Muppets. And Kermit, without a doubt, is the icon of the Muppets. But I do have to tell you that as much as I love Kermit, recently my husband informed me that I'm actually Piggy. And you know what? He's probably right. Oh, Gurmy.